Okay, I'm recording. And for starters, how about giving me the name you'd like to be identified on the air and also the title you would like to see on the air as well?
DJ is fine, or Coach DJ is fine. That's what everybody called me by in the community anyway.
And shall we say a coach or community activist?
Um, either or, either
Either or
or.
is fine with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, unprecedented times right now, a lot of racial tension and a lot of movement for change. I understand you've been a big leader in the community in helping out with a lot of marches in the Oceanside area. First of all, can you tell me why you've gotten involved?
One of the reasons I got involved because I see a lot of the youngster and the young generation that's out there and they protest and they want their voices to be heard as well. And me being a black man in America and from the South, and as active I am in the community, and as much as I talk about systematic racism, I cannot not do anything. So I had to get out there and I had to protest and let the voice be heard. But I wanted to make sure that it was done in a peaceful manner instead of trying to fight violence with violence.
Was that was that in reaction to what you saw in La Mesa?
Correct. Because right now the news is painting out the narrative of what's going on in DC, what's going on in La Mesa, what's going on in LA. And so that's putting a lot, people watch the news and the media a lot, and that's putting a lot of negativity around with the business owners, the family, the residency, even police officers, and even the protesters, you know. So, because a lot of them saying that the people that's protesting is actually not the one that's actually destroying the buildings and is starting to looting. It's outsiders just trying to seize the moment of doing it. So I wanted to make sure that the people that's marching, that I'm marching with, because I'm marching with them. They're not marching with me. I'm marching with them. Have a peaceful protest to be heard instead of coming out there and be afraid.
And after La Mesa, we saw a lot of groups doing a lot of great job on self-policing and trying to make sure that these marches stayed peaceful. I want to talk about that, but first, can you tell me about the incident that happened with the young man who was spotted marching, I guess, in or around the group, armed with a knife? Can you tell me what happened?
Absolutely. So we were marching. We had just left from taking a break at Fat Joe's restaurant on Coast Highway, and we would just sit there, did a little educational thing. As we walked off, some of the protester came up to me and was like, hey, DJ, this guy is he's been walking on side of us and he has a knife. And so I was like, wait, what? So I just walked over there and I looked at him, you know, assessed the situation, and I walked over there and I was like, okay, this is perfect. This is God intervening right here. This is perfect for us to, as a learning curve right now. It's going to be a learning curve for the people that's watching. It's going to be a learning curve for the gentleman himself. And it's also to be a learning curve to the police officer that was following us.
And that was, I mean, I think the gripping part of that video that we saw and just obtained. What went through your mind? And you know, you're so eloquent in the way that you talked to the young man and defused the situation. What went through your mind, and how did you decide to approach that?
Honestly, it was actually just a spur of a moment thing that I did. I really didn't realize what I was saying or what I said until I saw the video. But when I saw him, I didn't even know he was 16 years old. I actually thought that was a man. So I didn't want to approach him fast in an aggressive manner. So if you watch the beginning of the video, I'm standing a couple of feet apart from him, so I can try to address his body language and see what's going on. And then as I began to talk to him, and the crowd was getting all right, I was like, no, let's calm down. We're not gonna do that. You know, let's not go there. Let's hear what he got to say. Because I'm big on that. We have been protesting for a while, and we've been having people come in and yelling at us. And instead of having the crowd getting excited, let's hear what they got to say. It's about education. So we need to educate them on the why we are marching. So when I walked up to him, I started talking to him, whatever was being said. And then as I started talking to him more, I could see him coming down, and he was trying to explain stuff. He was a little taken back himself. He was a little scared because the crowd was getting antsy and getting rowdy. And they even had a lady try to come after him. I was like, no, we don't need to do all that. And after I just talked to him, I just tried to talk to him after I found out he was 16. One, it was when I wanted to give him an example of how we get treated while we get profiled, because I profiled him. And that's how we get treated when the police pull us over. So I want him to feel that. And then when I found out he was 16, I was like, oh, it's just a kid. He don't know any better. So whoever was teaching him or didn't teach him failed. So I wanted just to educate him on that part. And then after I found he was 16, I was like, man, just go ahead and give me the knife. And I just handed the knife over to, he was a little hesitant, thinking I was going to, like, maybe I would have grabbed a knife and did something to him. But I was like, nah, man, I'm going to just grab a knife and I'm going to hand it over to the officer that was trailing us, that was protecting us from us getting hit by cars.
That was also very impressive because, yes, I didn't notice in the video that a couple of members of the group, they were angry. They were very upset, and
yes,
you know, Lord knows if you weren't there to calm things down, what might have happened.
Yeah, they were ready to go. They were ready to go, and that was one of the biggest things. And I made a promise to Officer Jim Rittenheiser and Officer Woods and Officer Walker. I made a promise to them and the lieutenant, I can't remember his name. I said, look, despite what you see all around La Mesa and Santee and LA, this is not going to be a riot. It's not going to be no looting. And I'm going to make sure that it's going to be a peaceful protest. And so that was one of the main goals that I was trying to get out there, just try to make this a peaceful protest for the voices behind me and my voice. We can get heard. That's all we want. We wanted a peaceful protest, be heard, so some justice and things can change.
And something you said there, can you explain to in a little more detail how you kind of profiled him a little bit and said, you know,
so what I did was, I profiled him because it was a Black Lives Matter movement, and all of us were for one of the calls for black people, and he's a white man in militant-looking gear. So I wanted him to feel how we get profiled, whether his intention was to do something to us, not do something to us, just walk alone, because he said he wasn't with us or against us. So I was like, why are you walking with us? Because they said he'd been walking with us for a minute, and some of the people was getting scared, you know, because he had the blade. So I wanted to let him know, how did that look towards you? Like, just think about that. You have a knife, you're a white man, what the media is putting out, and you had a Black Lives Matters movement, and we already know how there's outsiders making these peaceful protests go haywire. So I just wanted him to feel what we felt. And then I wanted to have that as an educational thing for people that never saw something like that.
Yeah, it was very, you know, gripping to watch there. And also, the other note that I had was, I mean, the officer seemed to trust your judgment and that you had the situation in hand. You know,
yes.
How did that feel?
Actually felt good, because at first Officer Jim was like, let me handle Deejay, and I was like, no, let me do this. We don't want let's not the law enforcement get in this. You know, we can handle this as outside of calling the police for everything. You don't have to do that. So it's just one of those ones, just having love and compassion for somebody. You know, he wasn't a threat. I didn't feel like he was a threat to me. You know, he probably was a threat to a lot of people in the crowd, because had he pulled the knife out and tried to cut somebody, kid probably would have lost his life, because the crowd would have went on him. And we didn't want all that. We did not want that at all. So the fact that, and I've been working with Officer Jim for a while, so he already seen that, okay, it's going to be peaceful. And because we had came across problems, somebody had a shotgun, somebody had an AR, somebody had put a bat on us. As people came into our crowd, and then we had some people in our actual crowd that was trying to incite and entice people to get all rowdy. And I was like, we're not doing that. You know, we started policing, get out. This is not what we're about. So he already had, once he saw that for the first couple of days, he was at ease, like, okay, there's nothing's going to happen.
I was reaching out to the person with that picture of the man with a shotgun. What was that all about?
Yeah, I even hit him up, and he said it was okay for you all to pull it up. I guess he didn't ask him time enough.
Send it, yeah.
So the narrative of what the media and what they're saying on TV, and we're just doing a peaceful protest. We was on our way to Carlsbad, and it was just a peaceful protest. But what he's seen, I guess what he's seen, he thought something was gonna happen. He felt the need to have a shotgun out, staring at us, and we stopped. And I was like, man, this guy have no clue. Like, it's no reaching him. I was gonna talk, you know, let him know we wasn't a threat. We're just gonna keep on going. But I was looking at him. He had that face on him. He wasn't registering anything. So I just told Officer Jim, I was like, look, this guy got a shotgun. It could turn bad, because no one in our crowd had weapons. or had somebody had a weapon, like walking with us with a weapon and saw that, now what we got? He's shooting, somebody from the crowd shooting, now everybody's shooting, it's someone's gonna die, for what? And we just peacefully walking. I don't know what that guy was thinking about. Protecting his property. He was, I know what he was thinking about. He was thinking, okay, we got a protest coming. I need to protect my property if they come this way.
And we have heard from several viewers who are, on that side where they feel like they call, defenders who feel that they need to defend or protect property and that sort of thing. But that's a whole other issue there. Over the course of the days since, the movement and the marches have come to our area, and you've been a part of these marches in the North County, what are the insights that you've learned taking part in this?
Some of the insights I've learned that not everybody know why we're marching. Even some of the folks that's marching with us, I have had a few people come up to me, quite a few people come up to me and said, before marching with at these protests, I had no idea. I knew that Mr. Floyd died, how he died, but I never knew why you all was angry, why you all was marching. I never knew until I started hearing the stories and what was going on, what was being said. So, but it goes both ways, It's not only that us in the Black community, us as in the Black community, we want the other ones to change the narrative. We also have to change the narrative of ourselves. We can't be so defensive all the time. So we got to be willing to educate them on things, and we also got to be willing to learn. We got to be willing to learn from the other side as well. Right. So I learned a few things myself. So.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've heard that I thought was very eloquent, that, I hope this is not a moment, but a movement, and things move forward. And, a pleasure talking with you today. Any more final thoughts that you'd like to leave our viewers with about the Black Lives movement, and then also the reason that they're marching?
Yeah, absolutely. What I would like for the viewers who ever see this is you don't have to fight violence with violence. You don't have to fight ignorance with ignorance. Instead of getting upset on asking how the police officers are allowing us to march, how about asking why? Find out the why behind it. Find out the why that we're so angry between the systematic racism that's going on, the police brutality, the injustices that's going on. Because right now, officers are getting held accountable. Being held accountable and getting serving justice is two different entities. We want justice. We want you kill us, you go to jail right now, you don't see your family, you don't get paid. Not, oh, we got to wait till a video come out and then we protest and all that. We don't want that. But educate yourself on a why. What leading up us to this, to be so upset, so angry, and what's going on. Learn your cops. Learn, like I always say, not every police officer is racist. We don't know that unless you talk to them. Not every Black person is a thug, but you won't know that until you talk to them. So education is very, 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 very much key.
Deejay, it was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for sharing all this experience with us, and just the way you handled yourself in that situation is very admirable.
No problem, Mr. Mario. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Take care.